guys, welcome back to my channel. I thought we would have a little chat today while I'm doing work with me on is the EM1010 a good starter machine? By far, it is one of the most common questions that I receive. Is the EM1010 a good starter machine for a business? Now, off the bat, I just want to preface this video with a couple caveats. This video is purely my honest opinion of the EM1010 and if it's a good starter machine. I'm not even saying is it the cheapest or even if it's the best, but just all in all, let's say you have a 10 grand budget, is it a good starter machine for a business? I also want to say that I know I'm an influencer for Ricoma, but please know that I would never promote a company if I couldn't give my honest opinion. Ricoma doesn't pay me for the videos I put out on my machines, so do with that what you will. And 3, this video is not to get you to click my link. This video is to help you in your research process of selecting a machine that works for you, because that's important. Now, if you decide obviously that you want to purchase a Ricoma, then of course I'd appreciate if you use my link, but that's not what this is about. I simply just want to address a question that I get often. And as somebody with an EM1010 that's had it for a year and a half, I feel like I can answer this. So let's get into it. There are things with the EM1010 that are great and some that are not so great, but let's start here. There are 2 main questions that you need to ask yourself when you're in the beginning research phase of figuring out which machine is right for you. Question 1, what is it that I want from this machine? Are you looking for a machine that can do it all? What type of products are you going to be selling? Okay, I guess that was like 3 questions in one, but that's all under question number 1. So is it simple monogrammed items like pocket logos, for people's initials, baby blankets, kids shirts for an Etsy shop? Those birthday shirts are really popular. If so, then I think the EM1010 would be great for that. You most likely won't need anything bigger than the 12x8 sewing field that it comes with, and the 10 needles will be perfect. You most likely won't be using all 10 colors at once, but you can set 5 needles to sharp needles and the other 5 to ballpoint and be ready to go. Even if you did front pocket logos for businesses and jacket backs that are like just the shoulder blade area, I think you'd be perfectly fine with an EM1010. So, but, do you want to do big sashes? Do you want to do hats, giant Letterman's jacket backs, like the full back, not just the shoulder blade area? Then yes, I would suggest that you go with something with a bigger sewing field and more industrial to fit your needs. That's why I upgraded to the TC. I wanted to get into doing hats for people, and although I've seen other people do them with great success on the EM1010, I haven't been able to. So that's why I upgraded to the TC when it was time for me to upgrade. I put on my Instagram a question and answer thing a few weeks ago and asked opinions on this topic. And I really liked what my friend Joe at Heart and Hustle Printing said. He said, it's not what you have, but what you do with what you have. And I couldn't agree more. And Joe has a very successful storefront and embroidery screen print shop. And I highly value his opinion. Now, I started out with a single needle Brother PE800 making custom baby blankets and worked my way up. I've had the EM1010 for, like I said, almost a year and a half, and I've done so many things on it, you guys. You guys have seen my videos. I've done Carhartt jackets. I've done backpacks. I've done the back of hats with my fast frames. I've done horse saddle pads, which are really thick. I've even seen people do car mats, which I also want to do too, because my car needs new ones. And it looks so cool, and I want to do it. So just because it's like a quote unquote hobby machine, I absolutely wouldn't rule it out for starting your business. Ricoma just released a success story of a woman, I'll link it down below, who owns a business. I believe it's called House of Hue. I don't have it right in front of me. And she only has EM1010s. She's got like 3 or 4 of them. And her big thing is patches. She's very successful at selling patches. So I hope that helps you with the whole, oh, it's not a commercial machine aspect, because it's like, okay, neither is a Cricut. A Cricut isn't a commercial vinyl cutter, but plenty of people, including myself, use that for their business and are still very successful. So don't buy the lie that you need an industrial commercial machine to start your business. Now, like I said in the beginning, this is all if your budget is like 10 grand max. Obviously, if you can afford something bigger, then by all means, jump up to the TC or the MT1501. But I think the EM1010 is an absolutely fantastic choice for a starter machine. The EM1010 can help you learn the ins and outs of multi-needles if you feel you aren't ready for a big industrial machine like their 20 needle. In my opinion, it's very user-friendly. I learned it very quickly coming from a single needle machine. The training that comes with it, in my opinion, is top-notch and informative. You get training videos before you get your machine, and then once you have your machine, you have live training videos with an instructor where you can ask any questions that you have. And in my opinion, the price is very, very reasonable, which leads us to question number 2. What can I afford? I've seen people say, purchase the biggest hoop you can afford. And I think that's great advice. In the beginning of starting a business, this is obviously the main factor. What can I afford? There are people who their max budget is $5,000 out the door. And if that's you, then I would say no, the EM1010 is not in your budget and you should look for something else. I know there's, 5 needle and 6 needle brothers. I don't know how much they are. But yeah, I would say look for something else within your budget. But if you're okay with financing and looking to finance, then I think the $135 a month for the EM1010 is very doable. And obviously, if you can afford more than $135 a month, then I would tell you to go bigger to like the TC or the MT1501. Full disclosure, I pay $209 a month for my TC. So if you can afford something like that, then go bigger. You'll never regret buying a bigger machine because honestly, there's a good chance you will outgrow your EM1010. You could get it, learn the ins and outs of multi-needles, and want to do bigger items, or like me, get into hats, and want something bigger and more industrial. So if you can afford more, I say go bigger. But if you can't, then the EM1010 is a great choice. Let's say you sell hoodies. Those mama hoodies with the kids' names on the sleeves are super, super popular right now. So at $135 a month, if you sell them at $40 a piece, that's only 4 hoodies that you need to sell to cover your monthly payment. And I think if you market yourself well, that's totally doable. So now that we've got the 2 main questions out of the way, another thing you should ask yourself is, do I have the patience to learn the ins and outs of my machine? Yes, the EM1010 is an absolutely easy beginner machine to learn. I'll show you right here some of the comments I got on it being user-friendly, but if you're looking for something that you can just plug in and go and it'll do the work for you, then I would kindly suggest that you need to change your thinking and approach. Embroidery is a learning curve and it takes patience and discipline to learn the craft. When I was researching for this video, I searched a few embroidery Facebook groups that I'm in just to see what people were saying about the EM1010, and I saw a lot of things about multiple needle breaks and tension issues and things like that. And I hate to say this, and please know that I'm not saying this to be like rude or anything, but 9 times out of 10, it's user error. And I'm saying that as somebody who's always having things that are operator error. If I have something going on with my machine and I research that problem, I always figure out what it is that I'm doing wrong. It could be that I accidentally put my needle in backwards, or I missed a point in my thread path, or I'm using the wrong size needle, or the wrong weight thread, or not hooping it tight enough. You name it, it's something that I did, and that's just part of learning. You figure out what you're doing wrong, you learn, and now you know how to prevent it in the future. So do you have the patience to do that, or are you always going to blame the machine? Now, I'm not saying that the EM1010 is absolutely perfect, because it's not. No machine is absolutely perfect. And I'm not saying that it's always going to be user error, because there's obviously times, like I've seen people in the different groups, they have to be sent like a new sensor or, a different part or something like that. So I'm not always going to say that it's you, but I would argue that a lot of the time it's something that we ourselves are doing wrong. So again, do you have the patience to learn and grow and fix mistakes? So I know I kind of went on a tangent there and I'm sorry, but all in all, is the EM1010 a good starter machine? I say yes, absolutely. It's one that you should consider and one that can be very successful with. So do your research before you buy it. Take other people's opinions into consideration, but also remember that there are people who like and don't like all kinds of things. There are people that prefer Silhouette over Cricut, or Ford over Dodge, or Melco over Ricoma. So take all of that into consideration when you're researching and weigh it all. I'm sure I'll get comments from people absolutely adamant that the EM1010 is not a good starter machine, Ricoma sucks, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sure they have their own reasons and maybe even some decent points. No business is perfect, but all I can do is give you my opinion. And I can say without a doubt, yes, it is a good starter machine because it's a good starter machine for me. It has done wonders for me in my business, and I've really been able to build my business with it. I still use it almost daily, even though I've upgraded to a bigger machine. But I also have to be transparent when I say this because I also don't have anything to compare it to. I've never had another brand of multi-needles. Ricoma is the only machine I've ever had. besides my single needle Brother PE800. So when I say take everyone's opinions into consideration, this is what I mean. Take mine into consideration too, but don't take it as fact. All I can do is give you my opinion, what's worked for me and my experience. So do the research, learn your machine, and that means doing the research before purchasing it and learning it as you have it. Market yourself well, have good customer service and a quality product, and you will most likely be very, very successful. One big reason my Etsy is not successful and only gets a couple sales a month is because I haven't added new products, promoted it, or sat down and come up with a plan on how I can make myself stand out in an oversaturated market. That's on me. The machine's not going to do the work for me. That's on me. Another reason is that since Deco Summit and applying what I learned there is I've been focusing on my local community versus being an online store. I'd much rather make 60 hats for one business than, a single sweater on Etsy. And you guys have seen firsthand how that's been for me. These jobs that are $500 to $2,000 at a time are amazing, and that's what I want. And you guys have seen in my videos what a workhorse this EM1010 has been. So that kind of goes back to before on what do you want to do with this machine? Figure that out first, come up with a game plan, whether it's a 4-step plan or 12-step plan, and then go from there. Investing in a machine at any price point is a necessity to grow a business. So whether it's a $900 single needle or a $15,000 TC, it's an investment, and you need to know what you're getting into and have a plan and the right mindset before jumping in. And I don't want you to jump in blindly. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I hope I covered the big main things in this video. I hope you know that I'm not just trying to sell a machine. That's not it at all. In fact, I don't even want you to click on my link, okay? Just don't even click on it. I just get this question a lot, and I wanted to answer it in a video instead of individually for how often I get this question. So I really, really hope this helps you in your research process of deciding which machine is right for you. So thank you for listening, and I will see you guys in my next video.